Hey, cheers, everybody. Sláinte. How is everyone doing? We are not in my studio. Welcome to Grove City Brewing Company. This is Trevor Luther, brewmaster at Grove City Brewing Company. We're going to be trying some beers. We're going to be trying some coffee. Let's see who we all have in chat. You guys, if you have any questions about brewing, um, about mash bills, anything like that, shoot them in chat. I'll try to get all your questions answered. We have Whiskey Uncensored. Let's go. It is good to see you, Ben. Eric Gunderson. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Eric. How are you doing? We have Douglas Poppet in here. Cheers, Douglas. How are you doing? The Pecker House. It is good to see you. Cheers. Let me know if you guys can hear us okay. I got the mic kind of close, but there's a lot going on. We are in the middle of active brewing here at the brewery.
Yeah.
So we're going to get started with our first. I wanted to pair some whiskeys with some of Grove City Brewing Company's beer. So tell us about the beer. The whiskey I picked for this first one is Clonakilty Single Pot Still Irish Whiskey. This is a 100% Irish barley Irish whiskey finished in a bourbon cask, Oloroso sherry and Amontillado sherry. This one is 46% ABV. Tell us about the beer we're going to pair this with.
Yeah, so we're going to pair this up with our Huya, which is an American light lager. I don't have a smash beer. Smash beer is what is a single malt beer, and usually single hop. So I don't have any smash beers, and would have been paired up well with a single malt. But
Well, this is single pot still.
Single pot still.
This
Oh,
pot
right
still.
on, yeah. So this has pale malt, and it has some carapils, and it has some little bit of caramel malt for some sweetness.
And I picked the whiskey because I know that this is a little bit lighter beer, and I thought this would go well. It's got a lot of tropical notes going on. It's got some caramel and vanilla, a little bit of ginger.
Yeah, so the hops in this one are is a Hallertau, so it's pretty good in lagers. It's nice and clean. Does have a little bit of fruity esters to it, so it should pair up real nice.
Hey, cheers, Peter White. Drinking a birthday present. Dingle Founding Fathers. Everybody raise your glass. Happy birthday, Amy O'Byrne. Cheers to you.
Happy birthday.
Oh, that's yummy.
Yeah, so it's nice
yummy.
and
That is nice and light.
Yep, nice, clean, and crisp. I use a lager yeast in it, so it's American lager yeast from Omega Yeast. So it ferments out real nice. It's fermented at a little bit of a lower temperature. Lagering actually happens in the conditioning tank, so you're fermenting at a little bit of a colder temperature with lager yeast, and it takes a little bit longer. And then the actual lagering happens in the conditioning tank or the cold room, where it conditions out for anywhere from, I like to do at least 6 weeks, if not up to a couple months. And there's even lager houses that'll go longer than that, but usually you can get some real nice malt balance with that. So
I like this. I'm not a huge lager fan in general, but I like this. There's got a little bit of, you can't get that hoppy.
Yeah, and you get some of that that tanginess that's on your tongue from lagers. That's generally from the yeast. The lager yeast will provide that.
I know it's got a little sweetness to it, but it's not overly sweet. I like this. Oh, thank you. Sound is good. Okay, thank you guys. Cheers, Larry 3R. We got, who else we got in here? Yep, cheers from Cincinnati. Ben just came through Columbus.
Nice.
Hey, cheers to Honor Pass whiskey.
Yeah, so tasting that, you after taking a sip of the whiskey and then following it up with a beer, it really mellows out and makes that beer nice and smooth. Takes that sharpness out of it.
Yeah, it really does.
Yep. So you get any kind of forced carbonation with brewing when you're, instead of naturally or casks aged beers, when you do forced carbonation with CO2, that CO2 will itself add a little bit of acidity to the beer. So if it's naturally carbonated, it'll be a little bit smoother and have a little less acidity. Now, you can use a splending valve on your fermentation tanks, and then once the fermentation gets down to a certain degree of Plato, you can seal off the tank and let it vent through that splending valve for natural carbonation.
I think the beer too. I think they're pairing off with each other. I'm getting more of the honey notes on the
Yeah,
whiskey now.
yeah,
That's coming through a little
yeah.
bit.
A little more caramel.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can definitely get honey on the nose.
Yeah, I get the honey
Yeah,
on the palate, big time,
yeah.
big time. I saw Katie Turk sneak in here. Cheers to you, Katie. Katie, we're gonna be having some coffee here
Mm,
before the end of the stream
yeah.
because this man does not just brew beer. So you're involved in quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. I do a little bit of everything. Entrepreneur at heart. I started out with the brewery uh, 10 years ago. This will be our this is our ninth
Wow.
year, so we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary for Grove City Brewing Company. Um, I've been there the whole time, one of the owners and the head brewer. So that led me into I was looking for a. I hail from northern New York, up in the Adirondack Mountains, where they make maple syrup. And up in that region, there's a maple sugar house on every corner, just like Walgreens. So we have real maple syrup all over the place. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a beer that was aged in a bourbon barrel, but I also wanted maple. So there's bourbon barrels available for brewers, and there's whiskey barrels, and there's maple barrels, but there's not a maple bourbon barrel available. So I created my own. I took a barrel from a real good distillery here. One of my friends and one of my favorite distilleries is Noble Cut Distillery here in Columbus. Makes some very tasty stuff. And I took his barrels up to my hometown in New York. We filled them with maple syrup. We let it age. I bottled the bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, and we brought it back here and sold it in Columbus. And we took the barrel and we put a really nice dark stout in it. And
That maple syrup was good.
it
That was
turned
really
out,
good.
yeah, the beer, the maple syrup, all of it turned out
Yeah.
delicious. So
We used that on pancakes, and we were also even putting it in chili at one point because it
yeah,
was so good. Yeah.
makes killer old fashions.
Oh, I did not even think. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That would be great. I did not even think of that.
Yeah, yeah, bourbon barrel aged pure maple syrup makes a killer old fashioned. Actually, any cocktail that calls for simple syrup,
Hmm.
you can replace it with maple syrup. You won't be upset about it.
I don't know why I never thought it. I put it in my coffee too,
Yep.
so I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
We've got Hey Joe's Whiskey Den. Cheers, everyone. Cheers to you. We're having some great lager mashed with a Clonakilty single pot still whiskey. Yeah, Katie loves me some coffee. So Katie and her husband run Drifting Drams.
Oh,
So they
nice.
make their own coffee
Oh, very
as
nice.
well, roast their own
Yeah.
coffee. Hey, Kilco Whiskey Musings. I just finished up my coffee. It pairs great with a brownie. Hey, there you are, Leanne. Slaunch y'all. Love this on-site location set. Cheers, Leanne. Leanne, your flight of Irish whiskey is going out this week, so make sure you have it in time before you leave for Scotland. So Leanne is going to be on my channel along with Jason from Mash and Drum on the 16th, the day before St. Patrick's Day, and we're going to do a single cask St. Patrick's Day. So I've got half of it bottled. I was going back and forth between the last one, and I think I've got it figured out. So I'm gonna have that off to you this week. Hey, bourbon engineer. Cheers to you, Brian. Thank you for stopping in. I'm really enjoying this combination. Like I
Yeah,
said, I
it
don't
is. It's
typically
pretty
like
good.
lager,
Yeah.
but I think they're playing off of each other because the sweetness is coming through on both of them.
Yeah, it's real nice. Yeah, and we're sitting in our production facility. So this is our second location.
Yes, this is not the tap room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tap room is over on Broadway, about 3 miles down the road. You can see in the background we have some tanks. Those are fermentation tanks. Stacy's actually sitting right next to our mash tun, and that blue line is our mash paddle. So that's what stirs the mash. And yeah, so we're right in the middle of the production facility where all the magic happens.
So you have some good beer. So help people. You said you're on Broadway, but
Yep.
south of Columbus.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
down in Grove City Brewing Company. We got
Yeah.
real creative with the name, so everybody knows where we are, except for those who ask, "Is this Grove City, Pennsylvania?"
Not Grove
No.
City, PA. No.
No. We're Grove City, Ohio. We have a 200 seat tap room where we have 40 taps. We currently have about, I think, 25 or 30 beers on tap. 20 of them are products we make. So we have 13 or 14 beers on tap. Everything from a light lager to a dark stout and everything in between, sours. We do all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to get into one of them later on. Actually, we got two really cool ones. We also have a winery, so we're a brewery, winery, and a restaurant.
The food is really good at the restaurant. We love going to the restaurant.
Our pretzels are killer.
Dude, the pretzels are so good.
Deep fried cheese curds.
Yeah, the cheese curds are one of my favorite. Deep fried cheese curds with a side of ranch. You can't really get more Midwestern than that.
Yeah. We got some. We did start doing a little bit of distro, so we are out and about in Columbus, and some of the local bars and pubs that invited us to come and put some on tap, and hopefully we dive more into that this summer and really spread out and start getting some of this beer out on the market where people can enjoy it besides our tap room.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. And if you're coming through Columbus, it's only what, 15 minutes south of downtown, 20 minutes south of
maybe.
downtown.
Yeah.
And you can stop and get like a crowler like this. If you don't, even if you don't have time to stop and eat, you can grab crowlers.
Yeah, we do crowlers, we do growlers. We don't have any. This is our only canned product, and it's a fill on site. We don't do any packaging yet, but at some point we'll get a canning line.
We had a couple more people jump in. Hey, Josh Fritz, good evening. All cheers. Donald Rance, it's good to see you, Donald. So Donald and I are going to be talking about Irish whiskey next week. I've already got a list of topics, and unfortunately, Powers Court was just added to the list after the Twitter or X story I read today. Hoping they get everything situated, but I'm looking forward to talking to Donald. I've actually been saving a couple bottles. I didn't want to kill him yet because I want to finish them off from being able to drink with Donald, having that pour. Oh, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. I'm excited to share those whiskeys with you. All right, so let me get rid of this.
Yep. Moving on up.
Yeah. And we'll go to the next one.
So this one is called the Jolly Red. So we do a series with our local donut shop. And I know some folks think it's sacrilege to put other adjuncts in beer, but we like to have a good time. So this one is called the Jolly Red, and the Jolly Pirate Donut Shop is a local donut shop, and they donate some donuts to us, and we put them in our mash, the very top of the mash. And what it does is it infuses the beer with the donuts. This particular one, the Jolly Red, takes 6 dozen donuts for 100-gallon batch. And these are red velvet cake donuts, if you can't tell by the color. And it also smells like red velvet cake. This is probably one of our top sellers during this time of year. So we released this. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. It is.
We released this during February. It's called Heart Month.
You can see it is red.
Yeah. So Heart Month and Valentine's Day, obviously. So 6 dozen donuts in a 100-gallon batch is what I do for this one.
So I wanted to pick something that would go good with something sweet like a donut beer.
Yeah.
And you have another beer that's Jolly Apple.
Yep.
So I actually went with an 2 Stacks Apple Brandy cask. And I picked this one for a reason. Number one, because I do think the sweetness is going to pair well.
Yep.
The other thing is, at the end of the month, 2 Stacks is releasing this bottle in their Fruit Drop series. So they're doing this in a canned version, and it's releasing at the end of the month. They're doing apple brandy, apricot brandy, and blackberry brandy.
Yeah.
So
that sounds really well. Red velvet is chocolatey. So that chocolate will
Oh, we
pair
got
well. Oh, that chocolate will pair well with apple.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like a so the to give you an idea of what the red velvet beer tastes like is obviously it tastes very much like red velvet cake, but some people pick up like a cream soda type flavor off it too.
Oh my God, I could totally see cream soda.
Yeah,
I could totally see cream soda on this.
and it'll change as the
I
temperature
might
as
be
it
sneaking
warms.
out the door with the rest of this one. Oh, this is
As it
good.
warms, it changes a little bit too.
There is Bourbon Neophytes. Cheers, all you magnificent Irish whiskey lovers. Cheers, Anthony. I hope your dog is getting better, Anthony. I was real sorry to hear about what happened. I hope she's getting better. We Mr. Mom 310. Cheers, everyone late to the party. You are right on time. Thank you for joining us. It's gonna be I love doing the beer and whiskey pairings,
Oh yeah, it's
and I look forward to doing this every year with you, especially because you get kind of outside the envelope with
yeah,
your experimentation.
yeah. So we have our flagships that are just I don't want to say run of the mill, but they're blonde ales, lagers, stuff like that. Those are our flagships, and we keep those on year round. They do change up a little bit seasonally, and but we do a lot of one-offs and like our sour series.
Mhm.
Our sour series is a kettle sour, and currently it's a black cherry sour. We had a strawberry rhubarb sour, and it tastes like strawberry rhubarb pie. So we do a lot of fun stuff with beer. I love to experiment and push the envelope, and a lot of the newer generation. If you've noticed in the whiskey industry, you see a lot more flavored stuff coming out and being
You
more
do,
popular.
yeah,
That's your new drinkers. That's what they're going for.
really.
They're reaching for, there's so many options on the shelf these days, and um, I just sat through a seminar with the Brewers Association, and they mentioned that nobody is spending less money. There's actually an increase in spending, but they're reaching for those flavored
The
things
flavor
as
stuff.
opposed to your basics.
Uh,
Yeah, so that's why I think you see an explosion in flavor.
that actually makes sense. So Tom says, was it you're from New York? You could pronounce that
Yeah, what's that?
Narragansett beer,
Oh, that's Rhode Island.
Rhode
Yeah,
Island. Yeah,
yeah.
did a
That sounds
chocolate
delicious.
donut porter. That
Yeah.
does sound yummy.
Chocolate's actually pretty interesting to work with. So, I don't know if anybody knows, but so when you work with chocolate, uh, you can't use milk chocolate. You have to use very specific types of chocolate that doesn't have a lot of crude fat content because the crude fat will kill the head on beer. So you end up with a lot of cocoa nib, use chocolate malt, which is sitting right here, that imparts a chocolate flavor. Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Hey,
What's up, dude?
Tim.
So
Thank you for joining us.
Tim Hoffman is actually the gentleman that I acquired the coffee roasting company
Oh,
from.
nice.
Tim has been doing coffee for over 20 years,
Oh, wow.
and he started the coffee mess quite a while ago, and he brought it to Columbus, and it's been in Columbus for quite a while, and now we taking it over, and we hope to make him proud.
Oh, nice. Well, Tim, we're gonna get to the coffee. Definitely. I'm excited to try it. Hey, cheers, Gandy Road. It's good to see you. I saw Mike. Yeah, Mike's in here. Livewire Whiskey. Mike, if you want to drop your link, I know Livewire is going live tonight at 9 o'clock. So, guys, make sure you check them out. We got Mike Meyer. Cheers, all. Cheers to you. Donald says he is having a wee heavy beer right now.
Nice.
All right, so I am liking the apple with the
Yeah,
red velvet.
yeah, that's pretty unique. It creates a nice flavor.
It does. I'm getting more of the chocolate now. Before I was
Yeah,
getting cream soda, but after going to the apple
yeah.
brandy
You pick up on
whiskey,
the chocolate.
I pick up on the chocolate big
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, it really makes it pop out, and that's what's cool about both products. Really, is the as they sit and the temperature changes. Well, yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, that
And
works
that's
really well. So this beer is available right now.
hmm yeah, that beer is available at our tap room. This one we usually do limited runs, so we don't let too much of it go out the door. So if you want to enjoy it, you can come to the tap room, or a lot of times I'll take it to beer festivals.
Mm.
And there's a festival at COSI March 3rd
Oh, okay.
that we'll be attending.
So that's in downtown Columbus
Yep.
for all you who are going to be out there March 3rd. If you guys have any questions for Trevor, any questions about beer, throw them in chat. Trevor is very well versed at beer.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit about my background. I started out home brewing about 14 years ago. Funny enough, I got a Mr. Beer kit for Christmas from
I think
my
we have a Mr. Beer kit in our basement. I'm not
yeah.
even kidding. Yeah.
Hey,
Part of
that's
one.
where I got my start.
We have part of one.
I got it a while ago, and I fell in love with the process. I started learning more and more about it, and I brewed for years as a home brewer, and then I got into it professionally. I worked for another brewery for a little while, and then Buckeye Lake Brewing Company here in Columbus. And then I was approached. We opened this brewery 2020. We got slowed down a little bit, obviously because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I took that opportunity to further my education. So now I have a brewing science certificate from Cornell University. I did their online course.
Nice. Very nice.
Yep. Yeah. So if you have any questions about brewing, I'll do my best to answer them. So anything with malt, fermentation, the mash bill, anything like that, happy to answer any questions. Draft systems. To be a brewer, you got to know how to plumb, a little electrical, problem
You
solving.
kind of got to be a jack of all trades
Yeah,
to,
you do.
to
Yeah.
figure this stuff
Because
out.
this stuff doesn't stay running all the time
Yeah.
by itself.
And then people show up with equipment to have a
Mhm.
live stream, and you're
Yeah,
having
right
to
in the middle of
scramble
it.
to
Yeah.
find electrical cords and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
This is
it
really
works.
good. I
Yeah,
really am enjoying the
that's a
chocolate
great
that's coming
pairing. Yeah.
through on that.
Yeah, that's nice. This is the first time I've ever
Oh,
had
is that the
their
first time you had that?
yeah, their apple brandy.
Yeah, they do. So two stacks actually. I also picked them because it does kind of remind me of you because you get experimental
Yeah.
with beers.
Yep.
And two stacks gets experimental. I mean, they've got all these brandy series that they've done. So it just kind of reminded me. They got blackstrap rum, and I had to Google what blackstrap rum even was.
Yeah.
Like, oh, molasses. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a lot of
Yeah, and
experimentation with the canned whiskey, of course, as well.
yeah, it's great too.
So
And I see on the back it's awesome when distilleries do this kind of stuff where they tell you what's the grain bill.
yeah,
Stuff.
they're full transparency.
Yep.
So yeah, this is their regular cask strength mash bill. So this is a 40% dark grain, 40% light grain, 8% pot still, 10% double malt, 2% peated malt. You've got virgin oak cask, bourbon cask, Larissa sherry casks, and this is bottled at 63% ABV. And I'm really excited because this was released a couple years ago, and they had not had it back since. So we're really excited. They're going to be releasing it. I believe it's at 50% ABV in the cans, but you'll be able to get cans of this now. Those are nice. Those are
Yeah.
about 3 ounces in a can.
Yeah. I see Donald has a Baltic Porter. Baltic Porters
Oh
are
yeah.
great. A little tale in the brewery industry is porters started from porters in England, where they carried mail or something like that, and they didn't make enough money to afford a full stout, so they mixed a cheaper ale with part of a stout, and that's where porters came from, essentially.
Is that really where it came? Oh my gosh,
I
I didn't
don't
know
know if that's true, but it's a hell of a good
that. You heard
story.
it here first.
Yeah, it's a good story if
That
that.
is a good story.
Yeah, I heard that years ago from an old brewer. That's where. But I do know the India Pale Ales. So India Pale Ale derived from them shipping beer from England to the Indies, and hops is a preservative. So when you load it down with hops, it preserves the beer to make it.
Did not
So
realize that.
really hoppy beers.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I don't like those.
Yeah.
Not a hoppy person at all. But this is wonderful.
So
This
when
is really good.
Scotch on the Bayou. Is that what that says? Bayou.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Leanna's down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
When does the still arrive? Well, I may or may not have one on order as soon as they legalize home distilling, which is in our legislation.
Yeah.
It might show up in my doorstep.
Don't even get
And
my husband started on that. He's already.
we can actually do a little. So we're a winery as well, and
Yeah.
wineries can do some distilling to make hell, I'm on a blank. There's
It's like
a port wine.
yeah,
They can make port wine.
fortified wine.
Yeah, they can we can fortify wine. We don't have a distillation process. The only the only vague type of distillation we do is we make an ice wine. So, and that is a form of distillation. We put it in our cooler or freezer and freeze the wine and then just pour off what doesn't freeze. So it technically is a form of distillation, but we don't have time or energy or anything to put into any type of distillation yet. But
Yeah,
maybe down the road.
You guys can't see this whole room. There's a lot going on. And you guys, I keep glancing over here because there's a board with a whole lot of beers listed on it.
And this is only half of the
And
building.
this is only half of the building. There's a lot going on here. Donald said for hopped beers, ESB is his favorite.
Extra special bitters are nice. That's a very unique style of beer. If you love ESBs, people seek them out. Brewers love to do ESBs because they are a very nice English style bitter beer. But when you put ESB up on the board, it's funny how people scratch their head like, what the hell's an ESB? So it's awesome that you know what that is.
Donald is a wealth of information. I'm not surprised he knows what that is. Hey, Jeffrey Wack, cheers. Hello again, whiskey friends. Cheers to you. We're having some beer and whiskey pairings. I drank the beer, obviously. Clearly, I hated it. I drank the heck out of that. But we're going to move on to our third beer here. Let's see. Hey, Lisby. Cheers, arriving late. We are happy to have you. Happy to have you. So, Tom, give us 1 second. We're going to pour the next one. So, I actually have, for this next one, I have 2 whiskeys. So, I'm going to give you your second glass here.
Now we're 3-fisting.
So, now we're 3-fisting. I could not decide on this next one. And this next one is actually what we kind of got together and decided on the stream because this is kind of another good topic and one we can get into about the materials used for beer and spirit production.
To answer your question, Tom, we do finish in barrels. I currently have right behind the screen, the other half of this room, there's a couple of whiskey barrels sitting over there with a wee heavy in them. They'll sit for approximately about a year, 8 months to a year, and then we'll do some tastings and blend the barrels together and then bottle it, and we do that as a special release. But typically anything that's like really heavy in IBV or ABVs, like 10 plus, makes real good barrel aged. And our barrels came from Watershed Distillery, which is here in Columbus.
Oh yeah, a lot of you guys in chat are familiar with Watershed here in Columbus. So the last beer that we're gonna have, tell us about the last beer. Why?
All right, so this is a porter. This isn't a Baltic porter, but it's a porter that we infuse. It's called Back to Zero. It was actually one of my business partners named it when we started, and I let him pick the name. I said, what do you want to name this porter? He said, let's name it Back to Zero because that's what we need to do because we just bought a brewery and started it. So this is a porter. It's on the lighter side. And this is a great beer for infusion. So this particular rendition is chocolate raspberry. So I take the porter, I brew the porter, and during fermentation we have a conditioning or fruiting tank, and in that fruiting tank we'll homebrewers look at it as secondary fermentation. Um, we have a fruiting tank that we condition in, and this one has chocolate and raspberry. And I actually use cocoa nibs and some other chocolate additives to get the nice chocolate flavor, plus this really nice chocolate malt that's sitting right here.
So
That
let's bring that out. So
yeah,
that actually what instigated this, guy. So
yeah.
the whiskey that we're pairing with, we actually have two. And so the first one is New Riff Winter Whiskey. And it's because this is made with chocolate malt. So this one is made with malted oats, pale ale malt, steel cut raw oats, and 3% of chocolate malt. And then we're also going to be trying this with an experimental little bottle of Cope from Copeland Distillery. This is Copeland Irish whiskey, double distilled chocolate malt that is finished in Oloroso sherry casks. So,
So just to get an idea, so I purposely filled this glass in the bottom with some flaked oats. Flaked oats are pretty much smushed down and rolled through a thing that creates them into flakes, and it makes them easier to mash. And then of course your chocolate malt. To I'll touch lightly on malting, but your malting process, what happens is they bring in the raw grains. A maltster starts the malting process, which is the grain. If you looked at a kernel of grain and you cut it in half, inside there's looks like a honeycomb, and there's pockets of protein and starches and stuff like that. And the maltster, the seed, they're essentially seeds, and when they're planted in the ground, they can't get sunlight. So when they get hot and warm in the spring, the enzymes in the grains start converting starches into sugar, and that's how the plant starts to grow until it pops out and can get the sunlight. Well, the maltster, that's what he's trying to get for us, is he's starting that malting process, or that process, by getting the grains wet and warm, and as soon as they start to sprout they dry them. Once they're dry, they throw them in a roaster, and they may lightly roast them, or they give it like this chocolate color. And there's black malt. There's stuff as black as your microphone. I
oh
mean,
wow.
they roast it in all types of levels. In the bottom of this one, there's some caramel malt, which gives you caramel, coffee, toffee, stuff like this. But the chocolate will give you that chocolatey, um, really dark coffee and notes like that
It
you're
does smell
looking
like
for.
chocolate.
Yeah,
It smells like Cocoa Pebbles,
yeah. Looks like it
like
too.
Cocoa Pebbles cereal.
Yeah,
It does. It looks like Cocoa Pebbles cereal. I know we got some questions
yeah,
in
sure.
here. First, Tom D says, "What is the size of that can?"
That's a 32
That's a
ounce. It's
32
called a
ounce can.
crowler.
Yeah, a 10 plus put through a still is really nice though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay. Tim. Tim Lux, it's good to see you. Greetings. I'm not anti IPA. I'm anti IPA. But almost every microbrew I see in the liquor aisle is an IPA. Not sure why. Curious.
IPAs blew up a few years ago, and there's such a wide variety of different ways to make IPAs, and there's so many hop varieties that can create different flavors, and you add that to a complex grain bill that can also be altered. So you come out with a pile of IPAs, and IPA is actually the number one selling style of beer. So we love to brew and we love to create things, but also we have to keep the lights on. So if your customers want IPAs, that's what you brew and that's what you put on the list. I'm not an IPA guy. My forte is more in the porter, stouts, lagers, stuff like that. I'm not a big IPA brewer. I make them because our customers like them, and I know how to brew them. But there's guys out there that do really well, and they focus a lot on IPAs. But it's the number one selling style. So we definitely, yeah, that's why you see a lot of them.
I'm like you. This is my
Yeah.
jam right here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The dark beer.
I like to taste the malt.
Hey, Steven Scone, Shelf Sippers. Cheers, y'all. Steven, congratulations on a 500 subs. I know I've told you before, but that's a big deal. So I just want to raise my glass to you. Ah, Donald says one of the best beers that he's had was by a local brewer that crafted an ESB
Yeah.
with Maris Otter and fungi hops.
Yeah, fungal. Yeah.
Fungal.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you worked with either of those?
Yes, actually, I work with both of those. Fungal hops are pretty great, and some it has a
Oh, that's so
great
good.
nose on it. Has great backbone for it can be your primary hop. And Maris Otter, I use Maris Otter in almost every single brew that we do. It's one of my base malts. It's a 6 row. It 6 row and 2 row combined. I use about 100 pounds of 2 row to 55 pounds of 6 row Maris Otter, and that's my base for almost every single beer we have.
This is so good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even you get the tartness from the raspberry on this. This is really good. I see.
Do it with,
Zenbu,
try,
cheers.
try it with a new riff yet.
I have not tried it with the new riff yet. So we're going to start with the new riff because it's 100 proof. And the Irish that I bought, it brought, you know, we're hitting the low ABV at 64.8% on that one.
That'll warm you.
Oh, yeah. That'll warm you.
So it's funny that I can pick up
The chocolate.
I can pick up the chocolate,
And it's
malt.
only 3% chocolate malt in this
Yeah.
new riff.
So that kind of
It does. That really, that
earthy,
amplifies
yeah.
that chocolate.
Yeah, that earthy note.
That coffee kind of chocolatey note.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
exciting. So this all started because I saw Stacy
Yeah, you saw
actually
me post
post this one.
about
And
this.
I was like, damn, distillers are using our malts already. But chocolate malt is very well used in brewing industry, and it's chocolate and roasted malts are both really widely used in the brewing industry for our darker beers. Even your Irish Reds, Irish Reds mostly are made from 90 to 95% a paler malt, and then they throw roasted barley in there just to give it that red hue. A lot of your reds are made that way.
So is the use, and we kind of chatted about this before a little bit before the stream, is because Irish whiskey has started big into more using crystal malt. It's starting to be a little more common. Bushmills has got some, Teeling has got some, Copeland is using crystal malt. Now Copeland is using chocolate malt. Is that causing issues for brewers trying to get
Sure.
these hops?
You know, it's a crop. It's grown. So if your environment is have been at risk, or certain areas have been at risk, and you have a bad crop year, and everybody's trying to buy it, and everybody's coming into the industry, and they're starting to seek other avenues, for sure. Yeah. So, you know, if we were the only ones using it, we'd have they'd know exactly what's happening and how much they need to produce each year. Each farmer would know how much to grow. Well, you know, because you have an entire year to get your crops, if you have a bunch of new people coming in to buy that same product, well, guess what happens?
People.
Supply gets diminished, demand goes up, prices go up. So it's navigable, or it's navigable, but it's definitely something that we pay attention to in the industry. Is the cool part about it is, you know, if a farmer or a malt house has a large capacity of malt that can be used or roasted to different calibers, they can always just try to make more of that specific type. But it's exciting and aggravating at the same time.
I was going to say, I'm assuming because this now has become more popular with whiskey drinkers like myself, that they're not exactly discounting the price for you
no,
because now it's popular.
Yep. Now, what may happen?
Ingrained.
Yeah. Well, what may happen over the next few years is if they see an influx in the purchasing of chocolate malt, then the malt houses are going to say, "Oh, we need to make more of this, and then all of a sudden they're going to make too
Too
much,
much, yeah.
and then in a year or so,
Then nobody's, yeah,
yeah,
then the chocolate malt trend will have already
when
passed.
they move on to other things.
Yeah, yeah. 6 row barleys excite me. Some of my favorite whiskeys are made with
Oh
them.
yeah, 6 rows.
Yeah.
You can't pull as many sugars out of a 6 row, but you definitely get more character out of them
Yeah.
for sure.
Hey, cheers, Tommy D. It's good to see you. We got Dave Vogel saying, cheers, Dave. How are you doing? I used to like IPAs, but I've grown out of them. I'm
Yeah,
starting to like stouts and porters, but lagers are your go-to style.
sure.
We started with a lager, and paired that with a light Irish single pot still. This is my jam.
Yeah,
This is so good.
it
It
is.
does pick up.
Very nice.
I have not tried it with the proofy Copeland yet.
Yeah,
Have you tried this
I
one?
haven't. No,
Okay.
might as well.
Slancha is almost St. Patrick's Day. I think it's 26 days. I thought yesterday was 20. No, it's 23 days.
You really pull the chocolate.
Well, that, yeah. And I think that one has more chocolate malt in it.
Yeah, yeah. That going from the porter to that particular whiskey, it really pulls the chocolate out.
Yeah, so this was, I wanted to bring something special. This is Copeland Distillery, is in Donaghadee County, down Ireland, and they are using a lot of chocolate malt in their single malts. And so this one is an Oloroso finish, so you can see the color on that. This is from the Oloroso cask. And this one, they're using a lot of that chocolate malt. You definitely get chocolate on
Which is surprising because typically, uh, depending on the sugar content, your more roasted malts, you won't pull as much sugar out of them.
So do you think the sweetness is coming from that Oloroso?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. They're grain. I'm not sure their grain bill, but you typically your more roasted malts are more adjunctish. You're getting flavor from it and not as much diastatic power, so not as much sugars to ferment. Which I know distillers, they're all about pulling those sugars so they can get better alcohol, better yield out of the grain bill. So it surprises me that they're turning to more and more of that. The flavor, like your wheats, you're going to get more sweetness out of wheats
Oh,
and
yeah.
rye.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So where your chocolate malts, you're going to get that coffee toffee type flavors out of it.
So did I tell you the age on this one?
It's nice. It's a nice one.
Did I tell you the age on this
No.
whiskey? So what would you guess?
8 years.
So this is less than, I believe this is right around 4 years old.
Really?
Yes, it's a 4-year-old whiskey. This has been put into an Oloroso Firkin, so smaller cask. But yeah, Copeland is making some great stuff. So that's why I did want to bring that one to share it. Although I also brought the new riff, because the new riff is what instigated the whole chocolate malt conversation. And that there is chocolate malt being, I don't know about how you guys might be able to tell me how widespread it is in American whiskey. Is it used in Scotch? I have not heard of a Scotch that's using chocolate malt. But some of the Irish distillers are starting to find chocolate malt.
I haven't heard a whole lot of American distilleries using
I
chocolate
hadn't
malts.
before New Riff. That's what caught my eye to this winter whiskey, is the fact that it was a chocolate malt. Having had the Copeland, I'm a big fan. But yeah, it's an interesting discussion because it is cutting into your area.
Yeah. But it's exciting that they're expanding from
Yeah.
the basics, the basic malts.
So Donald says the Bruichladdich Bear Barley releases some of the best 6-row barley whiskeys. Amrut in India also makes extensive use of 6-row grown in the Himalayas. Oh my gosh, I bet that is real good.
Yeah, I haven't tried any India malts.
Oh, you haven't had
Scottish.
Amber's nice.
Irish malts we use.
Paul Jean, yeah, I think
German malts we use. American malts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
German malts are pretty widespread. Do you use any from Colorado?
All of my hops most of my hops come from Colorado.
I didn't realize
Oregon.
until I went out to Colorado that Colorado is, I mean, and I get it, they got Coors out there, but it was surprised to me how much barley's grown in
Yeah.
Colorado.
So way back in the day, in early 1800s, 1900s, your brewers bought typically from local farmers, and they malted their own barley in
Oh,
their brew house, and that's what they used. Now we can buy it from all over the world. Obviously, it's widely available. You can get really good malts, really well grown malts, and really well malted malts. So
this is delicious.
yeah, the chocolate raspberry.
I mean, it looks like it's like looks like it's got chocolate in it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's and I love that the tartness also balances that sweetness with the beer.
that raspberry raspberry punch.
I should have had you bring me an extra of this. I knew the porter was going to be our freaking favorite. I knew it. I knew it. Have gotten away from the IPAs, finding some great, clean, fresh
Yep,
pilsners.
yep,
So you do some pilsners.
yep. Yeah, we do Everyday
Yeah.
Hero. Haven't done that. I didn't do it last year, but yeah. So anytime as a brewer, anytime I go to a new brewery, um, that's the first thing I try. You can't hide anything in lagers or pilsners because they're so clean and crisp. So you can tell right away if you try their Pilsner right out of the gate. If you taste any off flavors or anything, most likely you're going to find it in everything they do. Pilsners, you can't hide anything. You can't overhop them. You can't throw a bunch of other stuff, adjuncts in them. So that's usually the first thing I go for too. My favorite is lagers and pilsners at this moment too. I started out, I was dark heavy, wee heavies, barley wines. The more ABV, the better.
I remember the barley ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that one.
but now I'm old and I can't handle that kind of stuff anymore. So now a nice clean pilsner or lager is what I go for.
I'm still stouts and porters. When I've gone to Grove City and I get a flight, it's every dark beer you have. I start
Yeah.
at the darkest and work my way up. Yeah, to the reds and the nut browns and the Irish reds and yeah. Donald says Douglas Lang just. Oh yes, the Scallywag Chocolate Malt Edition.
Mm,
That's right. I
I
forgot
do
about
like
that.
it.
Yeah, Douglas Lang gets kind of
Yeah,
experimental like that.
Douglas Lang is probably one of my go-tos too.
For Scotch, yeah, they're
I
good.
have a whole we did a whole Douglas Lang event at our house or at our tap room where we did a whiskey or a Scotch pairing and tapas. And I have I think 6 or 8 of their bottles.
They're good.
Yeah.
I like Douglas Lang. I like them. See, Donald's a wealth of information. Central City Brewing in British Columbia did
Chocolate finish.
a chocolate malt finished in Sauterne.
Hmm.
That would be interesting. That would be
Yeah.
interesting. I bet you do get a lot of the honey kind of nutty notes from a Sauterne, but I wonder if it did get a little floral. I get a little floral sometimes on Sauterne.
I haven't seen any Sautern casks available on. So there's probably two or three different barrel brokers that are available to us. Um, so we can buy barrels that have had other products in them, and usually we get fresh dump. But I haven't seen any of those. It'd be interesting to work with something like that. Now, to segue into the coffee, um, we're going to be doing barrel aged coffee as well. So, one of our things is to get green bean and put them into barrels. And I know I've been pestering Stacy here
I'm working on it.
for an Irish
I'm
whiskey
working on it.
barrel to both do beer and coffee in now. So now I need 2 of them.
You need 2 of them. Okay, okay. I know a couple. I know a guy. I know a couple guys.
Mm,
So yeah, I'm working on that one. The one guy has a release coming up in Ohio. So
mm,
this
perfect.
this was so good.
Yeah.
All right, I am ready for some coffee now. So
Yeah.
now we're gonna try some coffee.
Yeah. So
That was delicious. All the chocolate was really yummy.
So something I've been so I just to let you in on my world. I've been in this industry for almost 12 years, 13 years now. Been part owner of the brewery for 9 years. Uh, Recently took over with two other guys, Brent and gentleman Nate. We call him T-Rex. We're doing the coffee part of it, but it took me the better part of a year to make this transaction happen. And when I first learned about it, I got more and more involved in coffee, and I started learning everything I could about coffee, and I started creating my own blend. And we have some very, very good blends already. This is our number one seller. It's called the Moon. The coffee company is called the Coffee Mess. Right now it's in Hilliard. We're going to be moving it to Grove City. Um, this is our dark forest. So this is not the darkest we roast, but it's really close. We have probably two or three above that. But this is my favorite as far as dark goes, and this is probably our number one seller. But excitingly, I've been working on a thing, and it's in the R&D phase, research and development, or rip off and duplicate, however you look at it. But it's a tan colored coffee and a dark roast. So what I want to try to do, and if you can see the colors.
Yeah, you can see the
Yeah,
difference.
so there's two different coffee blends in there. These are two different blends, and I'm going to do what I'm going to call a black and tan for Irish coffees, cocktails, whatever you want to use it in, or just like a blend. So that's what we're going to do. Right now, I got to mix it up so that we get both flavors. And we're going to do it in a pour over.
Oh, it smells amazing.
While I'm getting it done, if you want to
So I have
talk about your cream.
Yes, so I do have the link to the coffee pinned in chat. I have the link to the brewery and the coffee company pinned in chat. They do ship anywhere in the US. Trevor actually also said if you are international and you would like to get some of his coffee, you can email him and contact them through the coffee company, and he'll figure out a way to get it to you.
Yeah. I've never we took it over on February 10th, so pretty new to it. But I'm pretty sure we can ship internationally. My email address is luthergcbc@gmail.com. And or you can
Or you just get a hold of me and
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
hook you up. I'll hook you up.
Stacy knows.
I'll hook you up with him.
But
So,
yeah, anywhere in the US.
I do not drink black coffee, so I said I got to bring some cream. Now, Grove City Brewing Company actually makes their own Irish cream at this time of year, and it's amazing. And you make it with pistachios.
I do, yeah, pistachio.
So it's naturally colored green. I decided to bring something different because it's coming to Ohio and it's already making its way across the US. It's in Texas, it's in Nevada, it's in North Dakota now. And that is 2 Stacks Irish cream. So this is, guys, this is coming to multiple states. I know it's in Alberta. It is an amazing Irish cream. They're using double cream. They're using double whiskey. So we're going to have a little cream with our coffee here. You see, this is like, it's like butter.
It is.
Yeah.
A little bit thicker than what I make.
Little,
yeah.
and it is.
It's
extra cream.
Yeah.
In this, so this is actually their. I'm getting cream everywhere. This is their cask strength. So this is the 8% pot still, 40% light grain, 40% dark grain, 10% double malt, and 2% peated malt. That was the same blend that is in this bottle. Is what they use in their Irish cream. And it is absolutely delicious. And I've probably got Irish cream everywhere. This is what we got, 9 bottles. This is the last. I'm probably gonna have to get more.
So for the sake of science, I know you said you don't drink black coffee.
I will try it black. I would like to try some black. Here you go. Blue Mountain coffee, I did drink that black, but I mean, you're also in frickin' Jamaica with drinking the most expensive coffee on the planet.
Um, yeah, give that a whirl.
Oh, that smells delicious.
Yeah, so this is a dark roast and a light roast together.
Oh, that smells wonderful. It's like it's nutty and chocolatey.
Yep. So in traditional Irish coffee, there's
Oh,
brown
that's yummy.
sugar, right?
That is yummy.
Not too bad for black, right?
I could actually drink that.
Yeah.
I
See?
could drink that black.
Well, I'm doing it in a pour over. So we have an air roaster instead of a drum roaster. And anybody that does any home roasting, air, I'm not sure how much you know. I will spew out what I know, but air roasting, you tend to blow away the chaff and some of the oil and some of the stuff like that. So I feel, personal opinion, that air roasting, you get a much cleaner bean in the finish, and as opposed to drum where it rolls around and could potentially burn on one side. Both are great. Most of your awards have been awarded on drum roasters, but ours is an air roaster, and we're very proud to be roasting on a Civets roaster. So yeah,
I'm gonna have you
that's
give me
it.
more coffee.
More coffee. Oh
It's
yeah.
really good. I want a little more.
Oh yeah. I need it.
I went a little heavy on the sugar. Okay, we're good.
Good.
Yeah,
Yep.
a little heavy on the
I
sugar. I want
figure.
to try it with just the sugar before I add any Irish cream. It's
And I
delicious.
want to try the Irish cream before I get coffee in it.
The Donald says that coffee is his jam, and sun-dried East African coffee is
Huh.
his jam.
Oh wow, that's really good. It's a real nice, good Irish cream.
Yeah, it's very buttery.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great explanation.
So I mean, you can see, I don't know if you can see on the glass. I mean, you can see the butter,
Yeah.
the how the cream just clings.
Yep. Yeah, no,
It's
that's
real
nice.
buttery on the palate.
Yep.
So this is not obviously not a traditional Irish cream, but this
Or in a traditional
Irish
glass.
coffee. But
Irish coffee, yeah.
this cream goes excellent with coffee. So when you said you had coffee, I thought
Oh
this is
wow.
perfect.
Yeah, no, that's delicious. Yeah. Very nice.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That is really, really good. Hey, Sugar Kitty! It is good to see you, Sugar Kitty. I hope you've been lurking because there's been a lot of technical stuff that I know you are a big fan of. Sugar Kitty is another person that he is just a wealth of information.
Nice.
So that is Ethiopian coffee.
Hmm.
Has a nice orange blossom hint to it.
Yep.
Nice with some rye. I love Ethiopian
Yeah,
coffee.
we roast with Ethiopian. We do my favorite right now is our Alsal. We have two single origins available. One of them is a Peru, and the other one is an Alsal. The Alsal is my favorite right now. But I tend to slide up and down the scale. Um, the Dark Forest is my favorite dark roast. But the single origin right now, I'm digging the Alsau.
What's the dark roast? What coffee is in the dark roast?
So dark roast are I not sure 100% right now because I haven't memorized them, but I do know we have in the dark forest there's Colombian, there's Brazil. There's like four different beans in our dark
Oh, that
forest.
sounds good.
Yeah. Um, so we do a few different blends. Some of them are just two beans, some of them are up to four or five beans. So yeah,
You never know what you like until you start drinking good coffee. Because I did
yeah,
not think I liked
fresh roasted. Yeah,
African coffee. And I started trying some good coffee and found out actually it is African I like more than South American coffee.
I'm not sure if Tim is
So
still in
yeah, I'm
watching
not
in,
sure. Tim,
but
yeah, Tim, feel free to jump in
yeah,
here.
Tim is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the coffee roasting.
Peru seems to be a thing right now. I
Yeah,
like a dark Indonesian I'm Sugar Kitty, I'm with you. I like
yep.
Sumatran.
So Sumatra is actually in our dark forest.
I
Yep.
see that's gonna be my jam. I like
Yeah.
Sumatran coffee. I like the low acidity on Sumatran coffee, and it's
Yeah.
really earthy.
Yeah.
Tanzanian peaberry is a
Yep.
great light roast.
Yeah, pea berries. That's a whole nother beast as opposed to coffee beans. But pea berries are we do a couple different things with that. We don't have any currently in stock, but we'll probably get them back maybe down towards the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, Donald has a very good homemade Irish cream recipe
Yep.
where he uses a red Brussels stout
Hmm.
to make Irish cream. Because I've made that Irish cream before, and it's very, very tasty. It's delicious. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. So, guys, I have the link pinned in chat if you want to order any of this coffee. Do you do whole bean? Do you do ground?
Yeah,
What do you
so
offer?
anytime you place an order, we'll grind to order. We freshly roast twice a week. Right now we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. We ship out on Friday, so you get your order in through thecoffeemess.com. And you can become a subscriber and do a few different options there, or you can just order whatever is available on our list right now, and we'll ship it out. We'll roast it and ship it out fresh.
Liz says, yeah, Liz likes Central American coffee. Not a big fan of fruity coffee. See, I like the
Yeah,
fruity coffee.
yeah, yeah, and it's crazy. So that's why I was very much excited about this coffee thing, is because it's similar to the beer industry, where you can blend all kinds of different malts. You can go from dark chocolate malt and add some flaked oats, and then you got caramel malts and crystal malts.
I'm helping myself.
And so when you blend all those, that's called a grist in the brewing industry. Your combination of grains, and it's similar in coffee. You can get all kinds of different coffee grown in different regions. And each region they process it in different. You can process it in different ways. You have sun dry. There's so many options with it, and so it's so cool to see another industry and um, that has so many different options. And that's what's cool about, you can have a couple coffee roasteries that are right next door to each other, and you're not going to get the same product from them. They're going to have different roasting processes. They're going to buy different beans. They're going to make different blends. So you could literally walk from one door to the other and get two different things.
So for the future, are you going to be doing maybe some beer finished in a barrel season with coffee,
So it would be tough to do beer in
or
a.
maybe some kind of coffee that has beer notes to it?
Yeah, we could do that. So what I do want to do is age some coffee beans in a barrel that's had beer in it.
That would be yummy.
But as far as going the other way, coffee beans, the green coffee beans are
Mhm.
dusty and dirty.
Oh, yeah, that would
So
work
we
well
don't,
over.
yeah, we
Yeah,
don't
that
want
would
to
work.
throw them in a barrel and then put beer in it, because the beers,
Yeah.
there's no more heating process after that. So, yeah, we wouldn't want to do
Okay,
that.
so
Yeah,
but
but the
but
other
you
way,
could
yes,
do some
absolutely.
coffee
Yeah,
and some beers. Okay,
we're gonna do beer aged coffee beans for sure
so
at some point.
that'll be good. That'll
Yeah,
be really good. This is delicious.
yeah,
Clearly,
yeah.
yeah, I already went back for more. This is so yummy. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah,
Really
no, thank
appreciate
you. I
it.
really
This was
appreciate
so
you.
much fun.
Yeah, always.
Guys, I pinned the links. Make sure you check out Grove City Brewing Company. Check out Coffee MS, the coffee company. If you're interested in getting some of this coffee,
Yep,
you can order online. Even if you're international, reach out to me. I'll hook you up with Trevor, and we'll get it done for you. So, later tonight is I believe Kilco's going live right now, and then Livewire is live at 9. Join me next week. Donald and I are going to be sitting down and having some Irish whiskey together, talking about some Irish whiskey topics. And I will see you if you are coming to Ohio to some of the events. If you check out ohlq.com, there are some new Irish whiskey events for next weekend for kind of a mini Irish cask and craft events. If you come to the Cleveland or Columbus locations, you'll get to see me working at the JJ Corey table. So I'll see you guys all next week. You all have a good rest of your week, and sláinte.